Okay, so yesterday you learned how to multiply fractions. So today we're going to talk about dividing fractions by whole numbers. So we're going to start off with this one where we have 1/2 and we're going to divide it by 2. So basically think about this in your head. Think about you have a half of a pizza and you have 2 friends that are sharing this half of the pizza. So you're going to have to take this 1/2 of the pizza and divide it into 2 equal pieces, right? So this half we divide into 2 equal pieces, and we would say, well, how much of the pizza would each friend get? Well, of course, each friend would only get 1/4 of the pizza, right? 1/4 of the pizza. If there had been a whole pizza, they would have gotten 1/4 of it. So how do we do that if we can't draw out a picture? Because sometimes we can't draw out the picture. Well, basically how we do that, do you guys remember yesterday how under every whole number is really hiding a 1, because 2 divided by 1 is simply 2. Well, when you're dividing instead of multiplying, the only thing you do is you flip the numerator and the denominator of whatever you're dividing by. So in this case, we're dividing by 2 over 1. So we're going to flip the numerator and denominator and write it as this: 1/2 times, because we flipped it, 1/2, right? We flipped the 2 and the 1, it became 1/2. Now it's just like we did yesterday. 1/2 times 1/2, we would multiply the numerators and get 1, and multiply the denominators and get 4. And as you can see, 1/4, that matches the picture that we drew. So let's take a look at this again. This time you have 8 friends and they're sharing, there's only 3/4 of a cake left. This is like the day after the birthday party and there's still some people left at the party that want to share the leftover cake. So we have 3/4 of a cake and we have 8 friends that want to share it. So again, we're going to have to divide each of these, this 3/4 that's left, into 8 equal pieces. So you're going to do that. I'm going to color them with a different color. The part of the pizza, or not part of pizza, the part of the cake that each of the friends would get. So each friend would get one little slice like this. Right? There was nothing there to get. So how much of the would they get? Well, they would get 1, 2, 3 out of, if you counted all of these up, you would get 32. So we know that they're going to get 3 out of 32 of the pizzas that were there for the original cake. How do we do that with math? Well, remember this is 8 over 1. So we're going to flip this, so write our new problem as 3/4 times 1/8. Remember we flipped the 8 over the 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 8 is 32. It matches, right? Okay, so let's do it now without a picture. With this one, we can pretend that there are 6 friends and they're sharing 3/8 what's left over of a big thing of soda. Okay, so how much soda is each person going to get? So remember, what do we have to do? Well, we have to say that this is 6. And I want you to do this with me. So if you have your pencil and your paper and you haven't written this down already, go ahead and pause the video and do that now. But we're going to write the 6 over the 1, right? Now we have to flip that around. And it becomes 3/8 times, because we flipped it. Now the opposite of division is multiplication, times 1 over 6. Now in this case we do 3 times 1 is 3, and 8 times 6 is 48. Now one thing we didn't talk about in the other examples is we have to make sure we always put our answer in what's called simplest form. And we've talked about that before. But the other ones actually already were in simplest form, but we still need to check every time. And remember, we can check with to see if it's divisible by 2, 3, 5, 7, and the numerator itself. So in this case, we have 3, and we have 48. We know that it's not divisible by 2 because, look, our numerator is 3. But do you think that both are divisible by 3? Well, I know 3 is. Well, let's see if 48 is. 3 times 10 is 30, so we can start there. 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, and 48. Yeah, so it is. It's going to be divisible. And 10 times 3 is 30, so we already had that 10. Plus 6 more is 16. So if we divide both by 3, we're going to end up with 1 over 16. And that's our answer in simplest form. It's still 3/48, but in simplest form, it's 1/16. Now let's pretend, you remember that problem that we had with the pizza, we had some friends sharing it. I'm just going to erase what we have, and I'm going to talk about what would we do if we, because we've only talked about fractions, proper fractions being divided by a whole number. But let's talk about if, go back to the original problem. Let's talk about instead of we had just 1/2 of a pizza that 2 friends were sharing, let's pretend we had 2.5 pizzas that 2 friends were sharing. Okay, so we need to draw 2 more whole pizzas, right? And we'll color them all in. This is showing what we have. And we know that each friend would still get 1 whole pizza, right? This would be 1 friend. And they would get 1/4 of that other pizza left over. So the other friend would get 1 whole pizza and 1/4 as well. So we need to get that, see that, how we can do that with math. Well, remember how we learned to change our mixed number into improper fractions? This would simply become 5.5, because 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more, 5, over 2, divided by 2. Now, what do we do with that 2? Well, we put it over 1. We rewrite it as 5 over 2, 5/2 times 1/2. Let's see what happens now. Did I do that right? So when we do that, we see that we have 5/4, right? Can we leave it as an improper fraction? No, of course not. So we have to do 5 divided by 4, which goes into it 1 time, with 1 left over, and 1/4, which of course is our answer, and it's in simplest form, which we see that here, and we see it in pictures. Okay, so the only other extra step you have to do if you have a mixed number that you're dividing by a whole number is to first change it into an improper fraction. And then you're ready to go. So now it's your turn. I have 2 for you to try. So go ahead and you can write them down and then pause the video, and then we'll come back and check. Don't forget to put your answer in simplest form. Okay? All right. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to pause the video and check. This becomes 2 over 1, which then it becomes 4/5 times 1/2, which equals 4 over 10. Is that in simplest form? No. What can it be divisible by? 2, right? Okay, so we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2, and it becomes 2/5. And that is in simplest form. All right, you had to do an extra step for this one. The extra step was to first put it in as make it as an improper fraction. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. So we have 10/3 times 1/5. So we get 10 over 15. Is this in simplest form? No, they're both divisible by 5. Five will go into 10 2 times, and it will go into 15 3 times. This answer is in simplest form. So I hope this was really helpful for you, and going to continue working your practice problems just like you did before. All right.